Good morning everybody. Welcome to this Craft TV Facebook Live with My Craft Studio Digi-Stamps. I'm Diane and I'm very excited about this one, I've got to tell you. I love stamping and I love digital crafting, so Digi-Stamps for me is absolutely the perfect combination. So I'm very excited about what we've got to show you. We're going to have an hour. I've got some great demonstrations planned. I'm not actually going to make any cards today. It's all going to be on the computer. I've got a card to show you that I have made. You've probably seen the picture. But I want to take the time today to actually show you on the computer how we can get the most out of our digital stamps. I'm also going to show you how to, once you've downloaded it, I'm going to show you how to get the files into My Craft Studio, so don't worry about not knowing how to do that. Let's have a look at what we've got on the show today. So this is so exciting. This is our Digi-Stamp Volume 1 bundle. So you've got 45 Digi-Stamps, and that is 45 sets of stamps that go with the chapters 1 to 4 of the Two Red Robins collections. So we've got Field of Dreams, we've got Festive Songbird, we've also got Forgotten Corner, and we've got Summer Breeze in here. And you've got the Digi-Stamps that you can see on the screen. There are more because we couldn't actually fit them all on the screen. The price is £19.99. Robin's Nest members will get it for £17.99. It's available to download right now, so you don't have to wait for it to come through the post. Very excited about this one. You can download the stamps individually if you wanted to. They are £1 each, so you are making a big saving if you are buying the bundle. So it's entirely up to you whether you just want to try one and see how you get on with it, or whether you want to have a look at getting the bundle straight away. So we will be doing a USB in a couple of weeks with these. The USB will be a little bit more expensive than the download, because obviously we have to factor in the cost of the USB and posting it out to you. But that's not going to be for a couple of weeks. If you want to start crafting with these straight away, then the download is there on the Highlight Crafts website for you. That's highlightcrafts.com, and the phone number if you wanted to order it is 03300 889 338. You can see there all the Digi-Stamps are available individually for you. So you're paying £1 per stamp. Now you can see when we say £1 per stamp, if there were more than one die in the set, you are getting all of those dies and stamps in that set for £1. So the icicles, you can see there were 2 of those. The loose strife and blue weed, there were 2 flower dies in that collection. So you're getting 2 stamps for £1. But where we've got pip, then that is £1 for that particular one, because it's a more detailed design. So lots and lots of options for you to purchase these Digi-Stamps, but the best value for money is the bundle, which is £19.99, and again £17.99 if you are a Robin's Nest member. Now we also have the Scene Building Volume 1 USB and the Look Learn Craft USB bundle. Usually you would be spending £49.98 if you bought these individually. Today we've got them on an offer at £39.99. If you are a Robin's Nest member, you're going to save £13.99, so you're going to pay £35.99. Your UK P&P is £2.95, but if you're Robin's Nest, because it's over £30, then it will be free P&P for you. It should be dispatched within 2 working days. Again, that's on www.highlightcrafts.com. For you to grab that one, we have the Look Learn Craft My Craft Studio Education USB on its own, which today is £24.99. Usually it's £29.99. If Robin's Nest members still get your 10% discount, so you would pay £22.49. This is the one where I talk you through all the different aspects of My Craft Studio. If you have the Watch, Learn, Create one from the previous version, that is the same USB. We just because we've got the license for My Craft Studio, we've recovered it, but it is the same USB. So if you do have that one, you don't need this one. But if you've been waiting for this one to come back, this is the time to grab it. So you're going to save £5 if you're not a Nest member, and you're going to save £7.50 if you are a Robin's Nest member on this one. Scene Building Volume 1 is available for you today, and it's got a special price. So again, we've got a discount of £5. It's usually £29.99. Today it's £24.99, and again, a Robin's Nest member, you would pay £22.49, so a saving of £7.50. But obviously, if you can stretch to the bundle of both of them, you're going to save a little bit more money on there. And again, usually dispatched within 2 working days from our warehouse here in Derbyshire. If you're not already a Robin's Nest member, then for £24 you will get a 12-month membership. You can purchase this on highlightcrafts.com, or you can call the number on the screen now. The benefits of being a Robin's Nest member are incredible. You will instantly receive, the second you make your purchase, well, with once the system's updated, probably a few minutes. Your benefits will include 10% off all your purchases on the Highlight Crafts website. That's everything. That's the Craftmaster papers and cardstocks, the glitters, the Two Red Robins dies, the Micro Studios, everything that's on there, apart from Brother. So we've got free delivery on orders over £25. So I think I said £30 earlier, it's £25. You get early access to the web exclusives, which is incredible because you actually manage, sometimes you actually get them in your hand before they've even launched to the general public. You get your Robin's Nest lanyard, which we all wear with pride in the office. You get a pin badge, which we don't get in the office. You also get extra special offers, a window sticker for you to pop wherever you want, pop it in the car, pop it in your craft room window. And you also hear about workshops and retreats first. So that's great because you actually can grab your place because they sell out really, really quickly. So you can grab your place before general release and know that you're actually going to get your place on the workshops, which is very, very exciting. So, so yeah, let's have a look at what we've at the Micro Studio. If you do have any questions, pop them in the box, pop them in the comments. Andrew's here with me today, so he'll give me a wave or a nudge if I miss any, because I'm going to be looking at this screen for Micro Studio and the screen is here for the questions, so hopefully I won't miss any. But hello everybody, thank you for joining us. I can see we've got a few people already. Dan, yes, I saw you put me in the diary yesterday. Nice to see you. Bev, Dawn, Elaine, Tracy, hi, great to see you all. So yeah, let's get into the demo. So the first thing I want to show you is how to actually once you've downloaded the files, I'm going to show you how they actually appear on your computer. So this box here is the folder for the downloads on the computer that I'm working on. And you'll see here, we've actually got the folders, so that we've downloaded from the website, we've downloaded the full collection and a couple of the individuals. So I want to show you how it actually works when you do this. So they're zipped files. So all I do is right click on the file that I want to pop into my folder. So this is the one that we've purchased. This is the one you want to pop into Micro Studio. So we're going to go right click and we're going to go extract all. So that's going to extract all the files from the compressed folder. And then you'll see it tells you in here where it's going to pop them. So at the moment it's saying it's going to pop it into my downloads folder, which I don't want them in there. I want them in the Micro Studio folder. So we're going to click the browse button and we're going to go to my documents folder, which is where the MCS artwork folder is, and that's the folder that you see in the graphics program. So we're going to double click on there, and in there you've got your My Artwork and you've got your My Downloaded Artwork. So we're going to click on that one and we're going to select that folder. So we press Select Folder and we press Extract. And then you'll see I've got the full collection in here, but then I've also now got those two that we've just extracted as well. So if I just close that folder and close that folder, when I go into Micro Studio and over to the folder on the left, which is where we find all of the artwork, we'll go to the My Downloaded Artwork folder, and you'll see we've got the folders for the collection, and we've also got the two that we've just downloaded, so the Iron Chimes, which is the one that we just chose to extract. So that's how you get your Digi-Stamps from the website and your purchases into Micro Studio. So let's have a look at what we're going to do today. So you can see that we've got all four collections here. So Field of Dreams, Festive Birdsong, Forgotten Corner and Summer Breeze. We'll have a look at Field of Dreams, and you see here we've got all of the different Digi-Stamps in here. So we've got our Buddy, so this is one of our robins, absolutely gorgeous. We have the Forgotten Fence. Now these are our fence panels, so you can see it is just an outline. You could actually use these for so much more now. You can use these for sentiment plaques, you can use them for lots and lots of different things. So you've got all the different fence panels. Again, these are all Digi-Stamps, so they're just outline images for you to create digital stamped versions of your designs and then print them out. And you can either print them out and use them as black and white outline images for minimalist cards, or you can colour them in. You can also colour them in Micro Studio, which I'm hoping to show you in the programme today. So you can see we just literally click and drag them onto the page as we do any other image, and they will appear on the page for you to actually start being creative with. So I'm just going to clear the page down. I'm going to press Ctrl A on my keyboard and press the delete button. I could press the select all button at the top as well and delete. That just clears the files down. It clears them from the canvas, but it doesn't actually delete them from the left hand side. Your files will always be there for you. Have a quick look at the Festive Birdsong. So you can see we've got these were the Christmas collection from last year, but some of these will work for all year round. So we've got the beautiful mistletoe, beautiful house there. We've got the wreath with the mistletoe, but then some of the houses, the wreaths I've just got little beautiful entwined twigs, and then some eucalyptus is the word I'm looking for on there. And then we've got our Christmas decor, we've got our icicles, which can also be stalactites or grass, anything you choose. Here's our iron chime, so this is our bell, which again, perfect for weddings and lots of other occasions, doesn't have to be Christmas. 2 different stamps in that particular collection. And then we've got our songbird, which is so popular. So pop him, so you see, you can just pop him straight into the wreath, and then that's a new stamp already made for you. So clear the page down, and we'll just have a look at a few of the ones from Forgotten Corner. Now, Forgotten Corner is where we have our Benji, so there's our Benji bunny. Again, one of the most popular dies we've ever done in the Two Red Robins collections. Here's our Walk in the Past, Nosy Neighbours, and then Shadow Fern. Now, you'll notice that the Shadow Fern die was a collection of ferns in one die. What I've actually done with the images on the Digi-Stamps is I've broken the ferns down to the different elements of the fern. So you've actually got 5 different elements within that you can actually use to combine to make your own, but they're much more usable and versatile if you've actually got them as individual elements. So that's the Forgotten Corner collection. So just again, we'll just clear the page down and show you some of the ones from Summer Breeze. So we've got beautiful, beautiful wildflowers in here. So we've got the foxglove, we've got the hedge nettle, we've got Mr. Brown's field, so we've got the wall, we've got the summer spokes, which was the wheel. We've got the wax cap mushrooms. Hopefully I'm going to show you how to colour that one in on Minecraft Studio in a little bit today. And then here we've got our Wild Royalty, which was a collection of 4 different wildflower stamps as well. So you've got those there as well. Got our thistle here. So many different options. So let's have a look at what we can actually do with some of these Digi-Stamps now. So you can see that the stamped images are all black, and when we start to play about with the colours in Micro Studio, we actually we use the hue slider to change the colour. Now the hue slider won't change the colour of something that's black, because technically black's not a colour. So I'm going to pop this one onto the page. I'm actually pop it onto the page. I'm going to make it quite big so that you can see what we're doing. And I'm going to go over to the left-hand side, and I'm going to go to the Effects tab. So this is the graphics program. And if I was to move the hue slider, the image wouldn't change colour at all. So I'm going to come down to my colour boost, which is just down here. Move any of the sliders, just move one of the sliders in any direction. So you see we've now got a red stamp. So that could be a red stamped image. So this is where we've got thousands and thousands of different colours of ink pads within your computer, because you have a graphics program to change these designs to any colour that you want. So we're going to go to the hue slider, and we're going to move the hue slider. So you can see now that red stamp is changing to greens, to blues, into purples, into yellows. Every single colour option that you could possibly want is in there. So you can see we've got all of those different options. Now at the moment it's quite a bright colour, so you can see we've got a nice brown shade there. But you may want it a little bit lighter, so you can see we can use the brightness slider to make it more pastel, and we can go even darker into rich jewel tones there. It does take it back to black when you get quite light down there, but then you can see again we can go lighter, and if we go lighter but we want it a different colour, we can then use the hue slider and go for a light green or a light blue or a light purple. Entirely up to you. Lots and lots of different options. You've got thousands of different colours for every single image. So again, you can see if we go to this shade of pink, we can make it a little bit darker, we can make it a little bit lighter, we can go baby pink, but we can also go into the really rich dark jewel tones of pink as well. And that's the same for every single one of these digital stamps, which when you think about spending £1 on that particular stamped image, that is incredible value for money, because the first thing I did was change the size, and you can't do that if you buy a regular stamp, unless you're using shrink plastic, of course. But with digital stamping, you've got so many different options, because you can change the sizes, you can change the colours, you can actually flip them as well, which is really difficult to do with your actual stamps. There is a technique to do that, but it's not something I've ever tried. Well, not something I've ever had success with myself, let's put it that way. So let's have a look at some more of the amazing stuff that we can do on the graphics program. So one quick thing I wanted to show you is digital stamps also work exactly the same as all of your other files in Micro Studio. So if I just shrink this down, pop it up to the top of the page, press the tile button, and we can have a full background of digital stamped images, which is incredible. So this is great if you're wanting to do lots of designs where you're wanting to have identical ones, and maybe you're doing batch wedding stationery or something, and you want to make sure that all of the robins that you cut out are exactly the same size for that particular stationery. You don't have to copy and paste them, you can just tile it because they will be identical. So tile it you know, across and down until you've got as many as you want, then pop something else on the page and tile that. And then for your batch card making, that is a fantastic way of working, and it saves copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Just 2 buttons and you've got a full page. So I'm going to delete that one now. And let's have a look at some of these files. So we'll actually I'm going to build my own stamp now out of a few of the different designs. So we'll get Buddy back on the page, and maybe we'll get Pip on there as well. And I'm going to bring on our Honey Rose Blossom as well. So this is the one that, if you've seen the card that we've popped on the Facebook pages, and I shared it in a few groups yesterday, this is the one that, the image that I actually created for that. So I'm going to zoom into the page a little bit. So I'll do that down at the bottom right, click and drag the little slider across to zoom into the page. So I'm going to pop the 2 robins over the top of each other. So we want to build a scene, but we need to do some digital masking. And that's really easy to do. We just need to use our scissors tool. So, because as you can see, when we pop this over the top, because these are transparent PNG images, because that means that you can actually lay them over the top of other textures and papers and cut them out if you wanted to that way, then the image behind actually shows through. So you need to decide which one you want at the front, and then the one that you want at the front is the one that you don't actually cut anything away from. Because if we want Pip to be at the front, we need to actually get rid of this area from Buddy, because Buddy is the one that is behind, so we need to make sure he looks like he's actually behind. So I'm just going to zoom into the page a little bit more, come down here so that we can actually get a really good view. So this is when I'm using the scissors to cut detail, I go right into the page. So we've made sure we've selected Buddy rather than Pip, because he's the one we need to take some area away from. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the colour of him. So we're going to go to Effects, go to the Colour Boost, and just going to change the colour. It doesn't matter what colour you change it to, it just means that you know which lines you're actually taking away from which robin. So we're going to go to the Scissors tool, and then I'm going to follow the line of Pip. So we're cutting away some of Buddy, but we're actually going to follow the detail of Pip, because that's the one that we want in front. So I'm going to use the scissors, and remember that when you're using the digital scissors, every click of your mouse is a snip with a pair of scissors. So we're going around the detail for Buddy. So you can see we're just following the outline of the digital stamp for Pip's chest there. And I'm going to come all the way along here, because remember we've got Buddy selected, so we're not actually going to cut anything away from this area of Pip. And then we're going to go back to the beginning, and you'll see when we get back to the beginning, the line changes to blue, so you just need to get the mouse in the right place. See, it changes from black to blue. Click that, and the red area changes to blue. So we can now keep the inner or keep the outer. If we keep the inner, it gets rid of the area outside of the blue area. If we keep the outer, it keeps everything in the that's within the blue, outside of the blue area. So now we've actually taken that area away, so we've actually created some digital masking and popped Buddy behind Pip. So we're just going to change the colour of him back. So we're going to use the colour boost, and we're just going to change the colour boost back to 0. So just press the number lock on the keyboard, press 0 and enter. So now he's gone back to a black image. So we're going to pop the flower image over them now. I need this to be quite big, so I'm going to zoom out because I want it to go behind both of the robins. So we're going to make this quite large and pop this over here. Go a little bit bigger, I think. And then we're going to change the colour of this one, because we're going to put the flowers behind. At the moment they obviously they're in front and they're covering the whole of the image, but what we're going to do is we're going to change the colour of the flowers so that we know which lines we're cutting, and then we're going to cut away from the flowers so that we can make it look like they're behind the actual design. So again, we're going to use the colour boost just to add some colour into it so that we can see which lines we're actually cutting. And I'm going to zoom in so that I can see the detail of the design. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow around both of the robins with the scissors this time. So we're going to click the digital scissors, the flower image fades out, and we're going to start just around this side here, and we're going to follow around Buddy, and you can see we're just snipping around the outline of where Buddy is. Do need to go down into his legs and into his claws just to make sure we've not got any stray bits there. We can go back again later if we want to and take some more away. And I'm going to go down to this bit here, and I'm going to go along here. I'm going to go back to the area further down later just to get that. So I'm going to come up here, and so we need to make sure that we go into the robins. So when this area is where we want the flowers to be showing, because that's space within the actual design. So I'm going to come down here and get rid of these little bits that are in his paws. He's not a dog, he's got claws. He's a robin. So go across here and down into this one. And we're just literally, again, with the digital scissors, every click with your mouse is a snip with a pair of scissors. So I'm going to go up here, get this little bit down there, and then up and around the top of him here. So you see the area is now moving, and the area that's becoming red is the area that will change to blue when we get back round to the beginning. So I'm not being particularly precise, I'm just going where the lines are overlapping, and that's where I'm doing my snip with the digital scissors. So I'm going to go around this bit here, and then down across the top of Pip, and then up around here, just to get these little bits that are overlapping. And then, because I'm quite close here, what I tend to do is I come quite a way away with my digital scissors, and then I come back to the beginning so that we can see when the line changes to blue. So because if you're quite a long way away, then you might not be able to see it as easily. So click that when it goes to blue, and then I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom of the image, and I'm going to keep the outer because I want to get rid of the area that's inside and keep the outside. So you can see there we keep the outer. And now look, we've got the flowers behind, and I just need to do the little bottom bit that's just inside the tail feathers there, and there's a little bit in the claws. So we just come down the image here, click the scissors again, and we'll start over here so that we can get these little bits that are down here. So again, we're just following anything that's inside the actual robin images. So we're going to come down here and do these bits. So again, back to change it to blue. So we're going to keep the outer, so that's got rid of those bits, and just this last little bit over here. So we're going to go back to the scissors again, and we're going to just get rid of that little bit that's overlapping there. Oh, I'm just going to press the delete button because oh no, wrong button. I wanted to press undo because I snipped in the wrong place. You need to press undo when you do that, so not delete. So press the scissors again, and we're just going to go back and make sure that we snip in the right place just to get those little bits there. Again, I'm going to come away and back down to it so that I've got a clear blue line there, and then back down and keep the outer, so that gets rid of that bit. And if I zoom out of the page so that you can see the full image, you can see we've actually created a complete image there, which is just beautiful. So I'm actually going to change the colour of that one back to black now. So again, back to the colour boost, and highlight the box, press 0, and then that will go straight back to the colour boost there. So we've now created our own stamp, which is just incredible and so easy to do. And one thing I want to show you now is a couple of ways of saving this file, because we can save it so that we can still edit it, but we can also save it so that it's our own stamp, which we can actually pop into the graphics program as per all the other stamps and do exactly the same that we can do with those designs as well. So I'm just going to show you how we do that. So we press the save button up at the top, and we've got the save as button, and this gives us a few different options. So you can see here that we can click on the drop down and we can save it as a craft project, which allows us to come back and edit it in Microsoft Studio later. And we can also save it as a JPEG or a PNG image. So I'm going to save it as a craft project because I want to show you how we can come back and edit it in a little while. So we're just going to call it stamp. Make sure I'm spelling it right. No, it's not got any on the end. So we're just going to call it stamp, and we're going to save that into the documents folder, which is where we saved all the downloads at the beginning. And then I'm also going to save it as a JPEG. So I'm going to zoom out of the page. I'm going to grab hold of all of the image. So we literally click and drag a box over the whole of the image. and that selects everything, but I want to make sure I group it together, because if I start to change the size of one of these, you can see we've got lots of boxes. If I start to change the size of one, it will just change the size of the one image that I'm actually working with. So I'm going to group it together and you'll see all of the boxes, then it's just one set of boxes around the image. So I'm going to make the image the full size of the A4 page, and then we're going to, so obviously that's a very, very large stamp. You may want to print that and colour it or paint it on, you could print it, pop it onto a canvas, because you can get a printable canvas. You could actually paint it and do a mixed media project as a home decor project if you wanted to. But I'm going to save this as a JPEG. So we're going to go File, Save As, and we're going to go into the drop down. I'm going to save it as a JPEG Pro quality. We do have a couple of different quality levels in there, and that just depends on the size of the file that you want and what you actually want to do with the file. If it's just a file that you want to send to somebody to say, what do you think of this, before you actually, maybe you're doing wedding invitations for somebody, you could save it as a low quality, send it to them, and it doesn't take up as much room on your computer. But if you're wanting to come back and craft with it later, make sure you save it on the Pro quality. So we're going to save it as a JPEG Pro quality, and we'll call it Stamp, and press Enter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it as a transparent file. So when you save a file as a JPEG, it has a white box around it. Now, the backgrounds that we put in and the toppers that we put into MicroStudio are JPEG images because they're a solid image. So it's it would be a full A4 page of backing paper, and that would be a JPEG image. We also, the files that are the Digi-Stamps or the actual elements within that you're going to use to build your scenes in the scene building USBs, they're PNGs because the areas around them, you want those to remain transparent. So at the moment, if I save this as a PNG, it will still save with the white background because the computer and the graphics program is still seeing that white background behind it. So if I come into the brushes tab, which is where we use the colour picker and things like that, there's also this box called constants, and it's always defaulted to white. If we click on this, we've got all of these different options in here. I mean, there's hundreds of different colour options in here, and these can be the colours of your canvas, so the actual white page. But there's one in here that's called transparent. And if I press the set button down at the bottom, that actually takes away the white canvas. So if we now save this as a PNG file, so you can see we'll go PNG Pro Quality again, and we'll call it Stamp, and we'll save it. That will now be a transparent Digi-Stamp that we can bring into MicroStudio as a complete stamp with all three images locked together. So that is now your new image. So I'm going to change the canvas back to white and press the set button. I'm going to save it as a PNG with the white background on so that you can see the difference as well. So go Save As. So I'm going to go PNG, and we'll call it Stamp. I'm going to call this one Canvas just so that I know which one is which. So I'm going to go Save. So then I'll just delete this off the page and go back to the files. So if I go to the Documents file on this computer, which is in this top left box, so this box reads everything on your computer. So I'm going to go to the Documents file, and you can see now we've got the stamp, which is a JPEG, the stamp, which is a PNG, and the stamp, which is called Canvas, which is a PNG. So this one here is the JPEG file. So I'm going to click this and drag it onto the page, and you'll see it's got the white box around it. So whilst it's a beautiful image, it's not overly usable within MicroStudio because it has got the white box behind it, and the only way to get rid of that white box is to use those digital scissors and cut all of that white away, which I don't know about you, but I don't particularly fancy doing that. So, so that's that one, that's your JPEG. This is the stamp where I didn't change the canvas from white to transparent, so you can see it looks exactly the same as the JPEG. So again, fabulous, but not what we actually want. And here is the stamp that we saved with the transparent background. So here is the stamp that we can then reduce in size. We can bring in something else, add something else to it. We can colour this if we wanted to. Lots and lots of different things that we can do with that one. And then also if I go to Open, and we've got the file in there called Stamp, which is the craft project file. Double click that one. That opens it on a different page. So you can see there's the page that we had before. It's opened a new page with my stamp. And you can see there, we can actually take this flower away, bring in a different flower, leave those two robins there, but actually put a different flower behind them, or put put something else behind them. Maybe they're standing on the rusty bucket, or maybe you want to just add something else to it, but you've got that option there with the file, and that file is then still editable. So if I just undo, pop it back, we can actually change the colours of all those different elements if we wanted to. But that is just one way of using these digital stamps, which is so creative. And this is why I love Micro Studio, because just sit and play. Just sit and play. You've not got inky, you've not got messy yet, but you will do later once you start colouring. But you're not wasting anything, and you're just literally playing with the graphics on the computer. And it's so, for me personally, I find it so relaxing and quite therapeutic to actually do this. But yeah, it's just great fun. So so let's have a recap, shall we? And I'll just tell you actually what we're actually working with, what the actual product is. So this is our first Micro Studio Digi-Stamp Volume 1 bundle. So the bundle has got 45 stamps in total. That is all of the Digi-Stamps that go with the dies for the first 4 collections of Two Red Robins. So they're not sized to work with the dies, they're sized to work with Micro Studio for you to build your own designs in the way that we've just done, or individually. But you've got 45 designs in there in total. It's £19.99. You can buy the stamps individually if you want to, but they are £1 each. If you're a Robin's Nest member, you get your discount, and your discount takes it down to £17.99. Obviously there's no postage because this is a download which is available immediately, so you can literally buy this now, and you could actually be doing, if you buy this right this second, you can do the next demonstration with me. You can play along at the same time. So it's incredible value for money, because like I say, the stamps are available individually, but they are £1 each. So you've got a great saving on there. We are bringing a USB in a couple of weeks with this. However, that USB will be £24.99. So you are saving by having the download, and you don't have to wait for it. You can literally be crafting with this today. So here's the website, which is www.highlightcrafts.com. So you can see there all the individual stamps available to buy. There's the twisted ferns that we were looking at earlier. So you can see where there was more than one die in the set, there is actually more than one stamp, but it's still £1. But you would be spending £45 if you're buying them all individually. But today it's £19.99. You can see that we've got the other USBs on there. We've got the Craftmaster Pure Print on there, which is the only cardstock and paper that I use now. My trusty glue applicators, and then the cardstock packs that are perfectly coloured to work with all of your Two Red Robins products, and the printable acetate. I am desperate to play with these digital stamped images and the printable acetate, because imagine printing them onto acetate, so print it onto cardstock and colour it in, then print it onto acetate the same size, and then pop some glitter behind the acetate, overlay that over the top, and then you've got a glossy finish to it with some glitter behind the glossy acetate, but actually fits perfectly over the top of your image. I can't wait to have a play with that. I've got so many ideas running around in my head to play with these Digi-Stamps, but it's so exciting. Here's the acetate. So that's £14.99 for 25 sheets. It is actually inkjet and laser printable, which is very, very unusual. It's incredible quality, and it is just fabulous because it's a lightweight acetate, so you can also use it for if you're wanting to hang things on your card. If you're wanting to maybe have one of the robins hanging over the top of the card, you can use it to pop the little strip over the top so that robins bounce it on your card. Lots and lots of different options with that as well. So thank you so much everyone who is joining us. I can see there's lots of comments, and I hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. So let's have a look at another demo. So I want to show you how we do some colouring in on Micro Studio. So let's have a look at that. I'm just going to have a really quick drink. I'm really sorry, my throat's a little bit dry at the moment. Just talking to myself. Okay, so let's clear the page down. So in fact, I'm going to close this page because that's the file that we saved. So I don't want to oversave that by mistake. So I'm not going to save it because I've not made any changes. So delete this one off the page. And I'm going to go into, which one should we go into? Let's go with the wax cap mushrooms. So I'm going to get them quite large on the page. Again, remember, I'm working quite large on the page just because some of the stuff that I'm doing, I want to get into the detail, but also we can resize afterwards, so we can make it smaller again afterwards. So it's going to make this as big as I can on the A4 page. and we're going to go into the paint tab. So this is a feature that doesn't get used very often in the demonstrations on Minecraft Studio, which is why I'm loving these Facebook Lives and things where I get a bit more time to actually show you how we actually use them. So when we go into the paint tab, we need to add a canvas. So at the moment we've got an image on there, but we need to add a paint layer to the canvas so that when we paint, we're painting on a separate layer to the image. And that works really, really well with digital stamps, and I'll show you why in just a second. So we need to press the add button, which adds the canvas. So you can see now, rather than having the boxes around the image, I've got blue boxes around the page, and that means I'm actually working on the painting canvas. So this is like placing a sheet of acetate over the top that you're actually going to trace the design on with your coloured pens or your paints. So I'm going to go to the little slider here. This determines the size of your brush nib. So we're going to slide this along. I'm going to go to around about 30, between 30 and 35 is where I usually start. And we're going to press the draw button. Now we go to the brushes tab, and this is where you've got millions upon millions of different shades and colours for your colouring. So every single dot within this box is a different shade of that particular blue. If I move this down a little bit, every dot is now a shade of that particular blue. If we go here, it's a shade of that green. And we've got millions and millions and millions. And we've got all of these different colours. So you've got the entire rainbow and every single possible shade of that rainbow colour that you could possibly want. So I'm going to come down to, I'm not going to go all the way to red, I'm going to go to quite a pinky red. And we're going to go maybe a little bit more red than that one there. Go about there, I think. And let's go with that one. Shall we go with that one? Yeah, I think that one. So now we've pressed the draw button, which means that when we put the mouse over the top of the page, you'll see it changes to a pen. So it changes from a regular cursor to a pen. So we're going to draw, and I'm using the mouse to draw. You can see I'm literally using the mouse. I'm not using anything fancy. So I'm just clicking and dragging with my mouse. So I'm going around the mushroom, and I'm going to go around the top of the mushroom. I'm going to go along here. You can see I'm not being particularly careful as to where I'm going along there. And then I'm going to let go, and then I'm going to go back around the top. Now this is where you'll probably see me going like this, because I do this quite a lot when I'm doing this, because when I concentrate I tend to move my head in the direction that I'm moving my hand. So back around to the top, just do a couple of little bits just there. And then I'm going to make my brush quite a bit bigger and just colour the middle bit. So down to there, along to there, and go along there. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller again because we've actually got 3 of the mushrooms on here, so a little bit bigger than that. And then you can see that we can go around this one here. And I need to remember to talk to you while I'm doing this, because I'm used to doing this when I'm sat in my bedroom just getting creative, so I'm used to doing this in silence. So there we go, just go all the way around to there and fill that little bit in. So we're just literally filling it in, and then we're just going to fill that little dot there. I'm going to reduce the size so that I can get into these little bits on this particular one. So we've got this little bit just down here, and I'll go a little bit smaller. So let's go to there, get that little bit at the end, get that little bit just around there, and then we'll go around and into this little bit just up here. So there you can see we've coloured that bit. There's a little tiny dot just there that I need to get. And then we're going to go a bit bigger again, and we'll do the other one over here. So we're going to go around here and a little bit further around there, and just around this edge, around there. And then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that we can colour in the centre quite quickly. And I love the versatility of being able to just chop and change the size of the pen, because that means that we can actually get into the detail, but also we can do some really quick colouring when we've got a big space. So I'm going to go back to a smaller one just to get that little bit just there, and then this bit here. Well, actually that bit would be a, that bit's going to be a twig. Is it going to be a twig or is that going to be part of the mushroom? I'm going to let you decide whether I colour that bit pink. Let me know what you think. We've coloured the red areas. So now, obviously we've coloured over the top at the moment, so that's because we're painting on the sheet of acetate that we've placed over the top of the canvas. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to order because we need to send this behind the digital stamp so that we can see the stamp detail. And I'm going to go send to back. And there you can see we've actually got the coloured detail. Now I'm not worrying about this bit here because we're going to add another layer now, and I'm going to be a bit more careful on this bit, and then we're going to send that back, but it's going to go in between the pink and the digital stamp. So we're going to add another canvas. So we're now working on the top layer. So if I go into the layers panel, you can see that this is our Digi-Stamp. This is the paint layer that's behind it, and we're now working on another layer over the top. So we're right over the top of all of the layers that we've got on there at the moment. So we're going to go to the draw button. We're going to get our brush to, we're going to go quite big on this one. I'll go about 34 again. Back to the brushes tab, and we want a little bit of a mushroomy brown for this one, obviously. So we're going to go maybe somewhere around there, and we're going to start drawing. So we're going to go into this bit here, and I'm going to go in. I'm going to, as I say, I'm being a little bit more careful on this one just to get closer to the line. Again, this is all about personal preference. If you don't want it to be perfect, that's absolutely fine. I mean, I'm not particularly a perfectionist, and I'm definitely not the tidiest of people in the world. So I'm just going to go around here, and when I'm actually physically stamping, this is digital stamping. When I'm actually doing stamping with my actual stamps, I don't worry if my stamped impression isn't perfect, because it makes every single project unique. So if my colouring on Micro Studio isn't 100% perfect, I don't worry, I don't go back and start again. It makes your project unique. Your projects are your own. I'm just going to get that little bit just there with a smaller brush. So get that down there. Go with the smaller one. Back up to a bigger one so that I can do the. Is this a stem or a stalk on a mushroom? I don't know. No idea, to be honest. So I'm going to go down there and down this side. I'm going to need to go over that with some white in a little second. I'm going to go down there and around here and around there, back into this bit, so then straight down the middle and down the middle there, and then we're going to go over this one here. So again, I'm making sure I go a bit better in the detail on this one. Down there, I'm doing that thing with my head again where because I'm trying to concentrate, so I'm tilting my head where I'm going. There we go. So go down here with this one. Just go down into this area. We can add a little bit of green for the foliage in a little while as well. And then we've just got this one over here to do. So we'll colour this down here and down there, and a little bit more down the middle, and a little small brush just to get into the detail at the top of this one. So it's going to go into that bit just there. I'm going to go a little bit smaller to get right into these edges. Even smaller. We're going to go for a bit of a fine liner for this one. So I'm going to go for about, let's go with a 7. And then we can just go in and get that little bit of detail just in there as well. Fill that little bit that I've missed there. So I'm going to right click, and instead of sending all the way to the back for this one, I'm going to send it backwards, because that's going to go behind the Digi-Stamp but in front of the red that we've already coloured. So we're going to go send backwards and go back by 1 layer. So you can see now we've actually started colouring the toadstool there. I've got a little bit there where we've gone over the lines, but that's fine. What we can do is add another sheet, and then we can actually go round the edges with white and pop that just backwards behind the Digi-Stamp so that it actually covers up where we've gone over the line. So if you wanted to do that, you can do that. I actually don't worry too much about doing that myself. But if you wanted to, absolutely, you could do that. So let's make these some fairy tale mushrooms, shall we? So we'll add some spots to them. So we'll click add, and we'll get the brush a little bit bigger. We'll press draw. Now we need to pick a colour for these, and I'm not going to go for pure white. I'm going to go for a little bit of a soft mushroomy grey. And for the dots on there, we don't need to worry about drawing a perfect circle. You literally click with your mouse and it gives you a perfect circle. So one click with your mouse gives you the little dots to go onto your toadstools. So I'll pop another one there. I'm going to change the size of the brush. So you can see here I'm just clicking with the mouse. Now you can actually use this. I think Den's asked a question about whether we're using, so I'm using a mouse, so you can see I'm literally just using a mouse here. You can actually use a tablet with a pen if you do have one. I've actually started using one recently, and I'm finding it a lot easier to use than I expected to be honest with you, although I do have some amazing experts in the graphics office upstairs, Jess and Lauren and Sophie. I keep going again, I think I broke my Photoshop, what do I need to do? And they just fix it for me. But yeah, it's great having the option of using a mouse or a graphics tablet. MicroStudio will work with whatever it is that you've actually got connected to your computer. So if you find that you've got a graphics tablet with more control with the pen, then absolutely you can use that. So I'm going to go right click, and we're going to go to order, and we're going to send this backwards. So there you can see we've now got the dots on the toadstools. So we could go a little bit further, and we could colour the area at the bottom green if we wanted to. But I just wanted to maybe give a little recap of what we're doing, and then also I've just got one more little demo that I want to show you on a bit more building perspective and dimension into your designs. So let's have a look at what we've got on the show today. So we're talking about the MicroStudio Digi-Stamps. And digital stamps are literally digital versions and printable versions of stamps. So if you're a stamper, or if you would love to be a stamper, but actually you find that maybe your hands aren't as good as they used to be. I know mine are definitely getting that way. But maybe you don't like ink, maybe you love the look of stamping but you don't like ink, digital stamping could be the way forward for you, because you literally print the stamped images out from your computer. So you don't have to have a load of ink pads, and with MicroStudio, as you've seen, we can have any colour that we like in there. So we're looking at the MicroStudio Digistamp Volume 1 bundle. This is the first 4 collections of the Two Red Robins dies. So this includes Field of Dreams, Festive Birdsong, Forgotten Corner and Summer Breeze. So you've got all the Digistamps for those. There are 45 stamps in total. Now they are all available individually on the Highlight Crafts website for £1, but if you buy the bundle today, you can download them straight away for £19.99, so that's less than half price. If you're a Robin's Nest member, you still get your discount, so that's £17.99 for you. No postage because it's a download, and it is available to download immediately on www.highlightcrafts.com. If you wanted to buy the stamps individually, they are £1 each. You can see them there, so you can choose. If you wanted to just get one and just see how you get on with it, if you've already got MicroStudio, you can use them in other graphics programs. They are simply PNG files. So if you have another graphics program, or you literally just want to download it and print it, you can absolutely do that as well. And in the die sets, where there were 2 dies in the set, you can see that you actually get the 2 dies in the download for £1. So you can see all of those different options there. So many for you to choose from. And I love the fact that with MicroStudio we can mix and match the collections, which is what I'm actually going to do in the next demonstration. So yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, we're talking about digital stamps today. The phone number, if you do want to ring up an order, the phone number is 03300 889 338. But again, everything is there on www.highlightcrafts.com for you to order and download straight away. So you could actually be crafting with these within minutes of this show finishing. And I would love for you to show us what you're actually going to make with them. So we have a bundle of the first scene building USB as well. So that was the these Digistamps all work perfectly with those images on that USB because it's the same 4 collections. So we've got scene building, and we've got the Look, Learn, Craft USB bundle, which is the education one, which includes lots of artwork as well, so floral artwork and lots of other stuff on there. have a bundle of that. So usually it's £49.98. Today it is £39.99, so you're saving £9.99. If you're a Robin's Nest member, you save £13.99, so your price is £35.99. UK P&P is £2.95, but if you're a Robin's Nest member, it will be free P&P because it's over your £25. Again, www.highlightcrafts.com. We have the seam building USB on its own for £24.99 instead of £29.99, so a saving of £5 if you're not a Nest member, £7.50 if you are. And then we also have the Look, Learn, Craft USB on its own as well, which is also £24.99 instead of £29.99. Again, saving £5 if you're not a Nest member, £7.50 if you are a Nest member, because it's £22.49 for you. So yeah, lots for you to have a look on the Highlight Crafts website for. But yeah, let's do another demonstration and get a little bit more crafty with my craft studio. So I'm going to go to the home tab. I'm going to save this file just because I want to finish it off and then post it on Facebook later for you, so you can see the actual finished design. So I'm going to call it Mushroom and save it as a craft project so that I can go in and edit and add my layers later. So there we go. So we're going to go. I'm going to select all. There we go. Select all, and we're going to clear the page down. Go back to the files. So I'm going to mix a couple of the designs from two of the collections now. So we're going to go to Festive Birdsong, and I'm going to get the entwined. So I'm going to get the large entwined design, which is our wreath, which is absolutely beautiful. The detail in there is just incredible. So you can see we've got eucalyptus leaves in there. You've got the entwined twigs there, and then we've got all the beautiful ferns and foliage in there as well. And then I'm going to go to Forgotten Corner, and I'm going to bring on our Nosy Neighbours, because I just think that these would sit perfectly in there. Now they're a little bit small at the moment because they're from two different collections, so the sizes are dependent on how they were used within the collections. But with my craft studio we can change the size. So I'm actually going to change the size of this here, pop it down to this side a little bit, just there. I'm going to pop it down there, and now I want to actually make it look so that there's a bit more dimension in this, because at the moment it's obviously just placed over the top, and we do need to use the scissors to get rid of some of the detail in there. So we're going to go onto the, which one are we going to go with first? We're going to go with the wreath first, because I want to take away the branch here. So we're going to highlight the wreath, and we're going to use the scissors to take away this area of this branch here, so that the branch is behind the wreath at the top. So we're going to use the scissors. And this is a really quick and simple one here. We're going to go into there and just follow the lines of the wreath. No, I'm not doing it that way. I've done that wrong. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm just going to press the delete button, and then we're going to undo and put it back, because I was actually going to delete the wreath bits. I need to delete the branch bits. So we're going to click on the wreath, and then this is where I have to concentrate. Sorry, and I'm talking as well as concentrating. It's not a good combination. So I'm going to use the scissors, and we're going to. I've done it wrong again. Bear with me 1 second. I need to click on the birds, because that's the bit I'm cutting away. Oh dear, it's because I've been talking for so long. Sorry guys. So we're going to use the scissors on the bird, and this is where we trace the wreath. So I was doing it right. I just clicked on the wrong image. Oh. It's a good job it's not live TV, isn't it? This will be in the blooper reel. So we're going to go along here, click away from it so that we can get back, and we can see the clear blue line. And then we're going to come down to the bottom, and we're going to keep the outer. So we're going to get rid of that little bit of branch that's overlapping. And then you can see it looks now like the branch is tucked behind the wreath, which is that's what we were trying to do. Okay. So now I'm actually going to change the colour of the bird stamp. So that's where we go back into the effects and we use the colour boost, because I want to actually, this is where I do want to cut away the wreath, because I want to make it so that this bit, so whilst this bit up here is behind, we want this bit at the front. So it gives you a bit more dimension, a little bit more detail in there. So I'm going to zoom into the page, and we're actually working with the wreath. So we're going to cut away on the wreath. I'm going to use the scissors, and we're going to trace on the wreath around here and get rid of these areas. So just come away from here and back to the beginning so that we get the blue line. Oh, we've got a question.
Wouldn't it be easier to put the branch on top of the wreath and then just cut the bit of the bark away at the top?
Put the branch on top.
Still left with everything underneath it.
I'm not following the question, I'm sorry. So the branch on top of the wreath. Oh, so, and actually cut this bit away as well?
Or no, cut the bit in front of that. Cut the bit underneath. Ignore me, I got it wrong. I'm going to stay quiet like I normally do.
Okay. Okay. I didn't even understand the question, so I wasn't able to answer. I'm so sorry. Andrew's left the building. He wouldn't dare leave me in here on my own. Okay, so back to what we're doing. So we're using the, so we're cutting away the wreath and we're going around the robins here. So we're going around this image here. So we're going to come away and back down. I think I'm going to cut too much of it away there. I'm going to take that line out actually. So I'm going to go keep outer. Yep, so I've actually cut too much. I went a little bit too far away there, so I've actually snipped a little bit of a line there. So we're going to undo that. I promise I did know what I was doing before I started doing this demonstration. So we're going to go to the scissors and we're going to go back. So because we're cutting away the wreath, we're going around on this area here. So I'm going to come away here and we're going to go back down there. So we've got a clear blue line and we're going to keep the outer. So that's going to get rid of the bit that's behind the pine cone. So you can see there what we were actually intending to do. I feel like a bit like I've lost the plot now. So we're going to go back to the scissors. We've still got the wreath highlighted, so we're going to go around here into this little bit. So just taking that little bit away. Just there, back down, so we've got the blue line. And keep the outer. So let's get rid of that little bit, and then this bit here. So again, we're just going to go around this branch. So we're going to go to the scissors, and we're going to go around the branch. And down there. And there we go. Just everything within that branch area is what we want to cut away, but we're cutting it away from the wreath because that's the image that's highlighted. So we're going to keep the outer, and there you can see we've now actually got the birds in front of the design there. So we're actually building the dimension because they're behind up at the top and they're in front at the bottom. That's where we were aiming for. I'm so sorry that was so complicated. Yeah, I kind of, yeah, but you get the idea. So, it went so well when I practiced it. So now I'm going to change go back to the birds, and we're going to go to the colour boost. We're going to hit 0. And there you can see now we've actually got a complete stamped design, which again we can save as a transparent image if we wanted to, like we did at the beginning, and we can save it as a JPEG if you wanted to. We can group it together, so if I press the select all button and group it together, we can resize it. So we can resize the design, so we can have it on stationery, we can have it on home decor, we can have it on a card. You could print this onto your printable rice paper and pop it on a mixed media project, print it onto acetate and do some glass painting on it, make a window decoration. So many different things you can do, because with digital crafting you actually can print onto anything your printer allows, which is the beauty of it. So I hope that you've enjoyed this Facebook Live. I do apologise, it all went a little bit pear-shaped at the end, but we got there in the end. But that's the beauty of digital crafting, and that's why I love it so much, because all I did was I just pressed the undo button. I didn't actually waste any paper, I didn't waste any card, I didn't get inky, I didn't make any mistakes with my stamps or anything like that. I just did it on the computer, and that's what digital crafting and digi-stamping is all about. So I don't know if we've got any questions that we need to look at, but I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody for joining us. It's been great fun. I hope that they'll let me out again after the last 5 minutes. I'm sure they will. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for joining. Remember, www.highlightcrafts.com is where you can find everything we've talked about in the show today. Give us a call on 03300 889 338 if you wanted to order on the phone. And if you can get the bundle, that is absolutely the best way of getting the Digi-Stamps. They are available for £1 each if you just want to have a try at digital stamping, but for 45 of them you're actually going to pay £19.99. Again, no postage because it is a download, but you can actually, will be able to get a USB in a couple of weeks, but that will be £24.99. So obviously, you know, the download is the most economical way to go with it, and you can craft with it immediately. You don't need to wait for it to come when it comes into stock in a couple of weeks, and then you have to wait for the USB to arrive. But if you prefer to have the USB in your hand, it is coming along with Scene Building Volume 2. Did I say that? Yeah, week after next, we'll be bringing you that as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say a huge thank you for joining us today, and yeah, I will hopefully see you all again very soon. Bye.